Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheetra Tibbs, and I would like to welcome you to D63 Power Hour. These D63 Power Hours are meant to be educational, engaging, and we cover topics that kind of help you along your Toastmaster journey. Today, we have one of our very own, Chris Goldman. And Chris Goldman has put together what I think is an awesome presentation. I saw it at the beginning, and he came back, and every time I saw different things in this presentation, Chris took it to another level. After you leave today's presentation, I believe you would have the tools to help anybody join Toastmasters, whether it's someone who's been in it before, getting back on track, or having a new person just come into your club. Chris has came up with what he calls PowerUP Onboarding Toastmasters for Success. And so now I want everyone to give their attention to Chris and Chris Goldman, everyone. Please turn off your cameras, everyone. We are videotaping this so that we can put this on our YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to give it over to Chris Goldman. Power Up Onboarding
Great.
Toastmasters Success.
Great. Thank you very much, Chitra. Can everybody see my screen? I assume yes. I assume you can see my slides because they're highlighted in green here. So today we'll be discussing the most critical period of a new member or returning member's Toastmasters journey, the first 90 days. The reason why I consider this to be the most critical period is this is the time when new members are most are looking to engage. They're very um, they're willing to try new things, and we want to leverage their excitement for joining our organization. So having a successful and structured onboarding program will accelerate the value for those new members and increase their participation. Also, for the club, an onboarding program will certainly help you to retain your members. So let me move on to the next slide here. Okay. So quickly, before we present the next slide, which has the meat of the presentation, and I just want to go through some quick do's and don'ts when it comes to onboarding. So it's important that the new member, the VP, and the mentor agree on this milestone schedule. So make sure that the new member knows what's ahead of them and knows and make sure the mentor is supportive, and then the VP needs to make sure that everyone's in agreement. We want to focus on the tasks that really accelerate the member value, and I have this bolded because it's very important. The new members are often tentative when they first join. They don't know exactly what they're getting into. So we want to make sure that they see value quickly, and that's what I mean by accelerate new member value. And this by far is the most critical factor to retaining the member when it comes to the next next period to renew membership. We want to encourage new members to speak at each and every meeting. So whether that be taking on a meeting role, giving a speech, doing table topics, we want to make sure that they're given the opportunity to speak in every meeting that they want to, right? We don't want to force people to speak, but we want to give them the opportunity to speak and participate. We want to make sure that this really sets the new members up for success. And we want to remember that the value that members realize out of Toastmasters is proportional to the effort that they put in. But it's more it's more than the members' efforts. It's also the mentors and the VPs and really the entire club's effort to make sure that the new member feels like the Toastmasters Club is a safe space and and is a safe and supportive environment. And then lastly, we want to make sure to recognize progress, to recognize the members, the new members' progress. Just quickly, the don'ts. I mean, it can feel overwhelming, so we don't want to present it like you have to do, 5 speeches in 2 months or something like that. We don't want to put too much pressure on them to overcommit. We certainly don't want to scare them off, but we want to make sure that for the members who want to engage with us, we want to make sure that we present the structure of how they can achieve more out of Toastmasters. Any questions on this or any comments on this before I move on to the next slide?
Hey, Chris, we
Yeah.
kind of advise them to hold their questions to the end.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
they'll put them in the chat, and
Okay, perfect.
when we get to that part, or even when you want to stop, I'll let you know if we have questions or not when you ask.
Okay. Okay, thanks, teacher. I'm not monitoring the chat in real time, but I appreciate that. So this is the template that we put together for the first 90 days, and you can see that we have the onboarding milestones. We have 6 onboarding milestones here for the first 90 days, and for those of you who are familiar with a RACI chart, RACI, we've created a RACI chart, but of course we couldn't say join the RACI because that's less catchy than join the race. So we kind of modified this to be catchy, and that's why we had to join the race. So the milestones here are well. So first of all, this example onboarding is for a club that meets every 2 weeks. That's important because if your club meets every week, it could be faster. If it meets every month, then it could be slower. So you need to tailor this to your club's cadence, and number of members, right? Because if you have a lot of members giving speeches, we want to make sure that we slot in the new members, at least for the first couple speeches during the first 90 days. And really the VP of Education is typically in charge of setting up the schedule. So I'm here. She can make sure to keep slots open for new members to do. So so let me go through the milestones and we can talk through it, and then we can talk through some of the other detail here. So first of all, we want to make sure that we have an onboarding meeting between the new member, the VP, and the mentor if possible, right? We want to make sure that we set that meeting up within the first 2 weeks of the new members becoming a new member. We want to make sure that the new member chooses the path and enrolls in pathways. Actually, it's the same thing. Once they choose a path, they're automatically enrolled in pathways. We want to make sure that happens within the 2 weeks, within the first 2 weeks. We want to make sure that members are encouraged and know what the roles are, know what the meeting rules are, so they can feel comfortable volunteering for them. So we have a cheat sheet of these are the roles. This is what the role typically entails. Giving that to the new members important, and you can give that to, and the VP can give that to the new member during the onboarding meeting, right? As a separate resource. But we want to encourage the new members to volunteer for meeting roles, probably twice in the first 2 months, to to volunteer for a role. We want them to really to engage and to deliver their icebreaker by the first month and a half. These are rough timelines. Really, the sequence and the gradual progress toward achieving these milestones are more important than the week numbers. But this gives a general gist to do we want to what the new member should be encouraged to achieve within the first 90 days. Something to make Dory and teacher and Kayla happy is we want to encourage awareness of contests. So we want to explain the contest. We want to gauge the new member's interest in joining contests. I think that's important because we want to make sure that they're aware of the contest. And frankly, I'm we my club maybe talks about contests maybe when contests are imminent, but we don't really talk about contests that much. So I want to make sure that the new members are aware of contests and know how to participate and join the contest at least as as a member of the audience so they can see the contests. And then throughout the first 90 days and really throughout their Toastmasters journey, we want to recognize their progress. Um, any comments on the milestones themselves? We can go through like who's responsible, accountable, consulted, and educated about these. But any comments on these milestones? Did I miss any? Are there specific comments on the ones I've put here?
None
I
so
think
far
this is
in the
important.
chat, but if anyone would like to come off mute, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
please do.
Yeah, this is Steve Lanham. I'm Harvard View Toastmasters,
I see.
and I'm sorry I got on here just a little bit late. I had a meeting that went late before this. But as far as the onboarding is concerned, I'm assuming that includes how to get on the club website, how to go to Toastmasters.org, and if you have other modes of communication within the club, that will be discussed then. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's a very important point, Steve. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, that's definitely included. So once they join formally, they'll get their credentials for the Toastmasters International website. But of course, if your club has a website or like my club uses Easy Speak for communication, so yeah, all of those auxiliary kind of systems, we want to make sure that they're aware of them. They they know how to operate. But those are very important. Uh, yes, Steve. Any other comments or so Chitra and Kayla and I had some discussion on the number of speeches we really should encourage new members and the cadence of speeches. I think for me, the sooner that the sooner we get new members to deliver at least their icebreaker, the better, because they'll get in front of the club. They'll have a formal speech. They may have done table topics before. They may have done a meeting role before, but giving a speech and giving their icebreaker is a major milestone. And I'd like to encourage from an onboarding standpoint that this happens within the first 6 weeks or depending on how often the club meets. Any comments on that? Do you think that's too fast? Do you think it's too slow?
I mean, this is Steve again, and I agree with you. I think the sooner we can get them there, to have them do their icebreaker, the more acclimated they can get to actually being up in front of people speaking. And generally as a rule of thumb, when I mentor people, talk to people, I tell them in order to keep my skills current, but not to wear myself out, I think it would be a good idea to try to give a speech every 4 to 6 weeks. So your
Yeah.
timeline is exactly what I suggest to people.
Great, great. Thanks for that confirmation, Steve. I agree. I think we need to encourage them to, because this is how they get the value. This is how they realize the value. So we want to accelerate their value. So if people are hopefully during our meetings and during the the evaluation portion of our meetings, they can see that people don't have to be perfect to give speeches. I mean, I know, I think some people have that perception where they need to be perfect in order to give a speech, but then they don't give a speech because they or they don't get the practice to become more perfected. So I think we need to during the evaluation portion of the meeting, we need to state that over and over and over again that this is a learning environment, that we're encouraging members to learn, and that you don't need to be perfect to give a speech. Okay, so let me move to the second 90 days first, and then we can flip back to this if you now let me first go over the RASI or the matrix. So you can see below here where I'm pointing the responsible, accountable, consulted, and educate. This is standard, management 101 for typical RASI. We rename the IE so it would be more catchy, but this is a standard RASI. So really the responsible and accountable are the critical um, you know um, uh, parties, I'd say, for each milestone. I believe that the VP is responsible for setting that onboarding meeting, for assigning the mentor, and then setting the onboarding meeting, for choosing the pathway and enrolling in pathways. Really the same thing, but really the member needs to do that. But I would say that the VPE or VPM are accountable for that. So they're ultimately answerable for completion of that task, because we can't force them to do that. We can't, as club officers, we can't force the new members to log into the website. But what I like to do, and I'm VPM now, what I like to do as VPM is once new members get their login credentials, I offer to do a quick online meeting, or we can meet after the meeting and go through it. But I'll walk them through how to log on to TI, how to look at the path, and how to select the path, and if they're willing and ready to select the path, we can do it, with me watching either online or after the meetings. But I think it's either up to the VPE or VPM to ultimately make sure that they select their path and enroll in pathways. For the volunteering for the meeting role, again, it's the new members are responsible, but here I think the mentors really take accountability for this. So the mentors, in my thinking, and of course this is a conversation. So if you guys feel another way, I think that the mentors are really critical for making sure that the new members are volunteering for meeting roles. For delivering icebreakers and their second speeches, I think the VPE, since the VPE is the one typically to slot to schedule speeches, I think that they're ultimately ultimately accountable for that. But again, the member is, and then for explaining contests, engaging the new member's interest, I think the VP is responsible, and I put the president down as accountable. But I don't know if that's if that jives with your thinking. I think Dory's on, so if you want to comment on that, you can. But then lastly, the recognized new members' progress. This should really be throughout, and the VPM in my mind has responsibility for recognizing the new members' progress. And again, the president, I think, is ultimately accountable for that. Any comments on this?
Chris, I love the way that you broke this down into roles and making it a little bit more like eating the elephant one bite at a time. So thank you for this.
It's it's really I don't want to, what comes to mind is it takes a village, right? It takes support for new members to actually get engaged and to feel like a contributing member of the club. So between the VP and DPM and the member and the mentor, I think everybody's got the role to play. So this is so moving on to the second 90 days, and this is of course this is after the first 90 days, but we want to build on the foundation. We want to introduce new facets to Toastmasters, and then we want to continue their momentum. I think the second 90 days is the perfect time if they're willing and if they're ready to take on the Toastmasters role. Right. Once they've experienced several meetings and know what it takes. And again, but that takes preparation, and we shouldn't just throw people into the deep water without a life preserver. We need to give them the preparation. So this is where that onboarding sheet of the meeting roles is important, so they know what to prepare and they know what that role requires. I think that within the second 90 days, they should be able to do their fourth project, which is the feedback project, or what's it called? The evaluation and feedback project. So they should be able to deliver the first speech evaluation as part of that project, right? In the second 90 days. Because the value of the evaluations is twofold. Well, actually threefold. The speakers themselves get valuable feedback, valuable constructive feedback. The evaluators learn how to give constructive feedback, and then the audience understands what a constructive feedback is, and can incorporate that into their mental framework as well. And then something for Dory here. I really think that within their second 90 days, they should attend a speech contest. And maybe you have, if you're VPM or VP, you say, okay, let's meet somewhere. We'll meet and go to the speech contest together. Right. So they can ask somebody to talk to that they're familiar with, or you can ask the mentor to do that with them. But I think it's a really good activity for them to attend the speech contest. So again, this increases their awareness of that facet of Toastmasters. Any other comments on this?
Yeah, this is Steve again. I'll admit to you that I am reluctant to ask a newer Toastmaster to take on the Toastmasters Day of role within the first 6 months of the second 90 days. And, maybe 9 months, I would start feeling comfortable with that. It's been my experience with people that they don't feel like they're ready for that, and they feel like that they're going to mess the meeting up, and Toastmasters to die because of them. So that's I usually don't suggest that after the second 90, within the second 90 days.
Okay.
So that's just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair, Steve. Of course, we don't want to throw anybody into the deep end without preparing them. But I know that certain people are, once they see Toastmasters and once they lead meetings, and they might be in a position where they lead meetings at work and want quick quick practice on that. So I don't think that there's any problem with somebody who's engaged and is prepared to lead within within the second 90 days. But yeah, I agree. Member by member, it would have to be be an agreement there. Dory?
Well, I think depending on the person, you should always give people the option. Let them speak, if ask them, say, do you want to take the invocation and pledge, or do you want to take the, a lighter role that way? And when it comes to contest, personally, I'm a firm believer that you want to get your members to participate, if not as a contestant, but as an official in the
Yeah.
contest somehow, because when it gets to the area and the division and then the district level of contest, we need more and more people to be judges and officials. But if someone has not been a judge at the club level, they cannot be a judge at the division level. It's a
Okay.
step. It's a step process. So if you have a new member come in and it's right before contest, if they're not comfortable being in the contest, yes, we would love to have them as the audience, have them be there, show up, but also give them an opportunity to be a judge or a ballot counter. The judge's form is very informative on what they need to look for. And it's not as giving an evaluation. It's completely different than giving an evaluation, which people need to remember. The judge's form gives you things to look for. Are they dressed right? Are they using their stage? Do they have vocal variety? And those are things to look for. And those are good things to look for anyway, but that helps them to be more observant and catch those things. So, I mean, at Harpeth View, we had someone who joined one week and we were having a contest the next and they were in it. Not everybody's going to do that, but again, give them an option, give them a chance. If you just think that somebody might not want to do it and you never ask them, you'll never know. You've taken their opportunity to say yes away by not asking. That's just my thought.
No, that's very good feedback, Dorian. Thank you for. If you saw, I amended this. I'll clean it up before but just wanted to include those points. But it'll be a very good feedback in terms of understanding contest rules, number one, and then encouraging participation as a contest support. That's a great thing. And I think here where we talk about explain contests, we need to say explain contest rules as well. I'll just hang on before I forget it. Let me just go ahead. All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll amend this and I'll get it out to you guys. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Dory, thank you very much for that. And any other thoughts on taking on the Toastmasters role? When that's most appropriate?
I don't know how to raise my hand.
No problem.
Anyway, in my club, we do full circle award, and that makes them give 3 speeches and fill every role before they're allowed to be a Toastmaster. And I think that really helps. So they have to be, do 3 evaluations, 3 speeches, do the odd counter, the timer, all the different roles. But in order to get the full circle award, they have to be Toastmaster. But usually by the time they've filled all their roles, they're pretty comfortable with everything. And so the last 2 are general evaluator and Toastmaster. And so normally it's within, maybe not 90 days, but maybe the first 180 days that they get that. So I
Okay.
love that. And we have the little cards that they sign up on every time they fill a role. We announce it when somebody gets it. We give them a coin, and it's just make it a really big deal. And so that's a good way to get extra help.
Yep, I agree, and having those incremental milestones and having a card, it's kind of like a golf card or something where you write down your scores. I mean, it sounds kind of kind of funny, or like a report card, but we don't want it to seem like school, but it's kind of a progress check. But yeah, thank you for Lisa for sharing that.
Also, I just wanted to let you know, you could also turn that into a PowerPoint, and it's easy to keep track of that way too, in case you're a full virtual club, the Full Circle Award.
Okay, cool. What do you guys think about completing the first level of the pathway? Is that controversial? Within the
No,
first-
no. For the next 90 days, so that's within 180 days, really
Yes.
depending on a person's level of commitment, right? Everyone has different responsibilities outside of Toastmasters, with their jobs, their families, and all that. And so if they are able to do it, I really would push them to doing pathways. Also, one of the things, and I've seen this, but it just came to my mind. But within the first 180 days, we need to try to encourage them to attend some type of area or district event, whether it's D63 Power Hour. If we have a social thing, we should encourage them to engage in the district. And I think for me, once I kind of got involved with the overall district, it kind of helped me want to be more involved in my club. And just going to your club, sometimes you don't see how big Toastmasters is, or or all of the diversity within Toastmasters. So that's just one thing I would probably suggest. And as a member of Toastmasters, I mean, they could go to a deck meeting, right, and see the different things that go on, and things of that nature. So that's the only thing I would add.
Great. Thank you for that, teacher, and I totally agree. I mean, if they attend an area or a an area or division contest, that might suffice it for the district event, but just for them to broaden their horizon outside their club and realize that Toastmasters is bigger than the 20 people in their club or the X number of people in that club, right? That's a bigger I mean, Toastmasters is such a structured, such a laddered environment, or framework where you can achieve so much in Toastmasters, but the people don't realize what there is to achieve. Then we might miss out on getting that member involved early and excited early. Kayla?
I would love to hit on that since this is such a great session where everybody is offering advice. But when it comes down to incorporating in some of the things that Toastmasters International benefits a lot, such as going to the international conferences, meeting professional speakers, showing all of those benefits, how do you take it from a club level all the way up to the international level when highlighting these things for onboarding?
So I think it's important, like, to maybe a good way to do it is to show the World Championship of Public Speaking, right? And to have that as because when I attended the Nashville International Conference back in 21, 22, I forget what year it was, but I attended the World Championship of Public Speaking, in person, and that was such an inspiring event. But realizing that everybody in that contest went from club level, area, division, district, and so on and so forth. So to realize that those people perfected that skill throughout their years in Toastmasters, but also through the contest process, that was inspiring, and that was eye-opening to me. And for them to realize that many people actually build a career as a public speaker or as a professional coach through what they learn in Toastmasters.
I love that. Thank you for that one. And side note, I did put it in the chat, but my car will actually be speaking at our September Power Hour, and it's going to be hard to follow up after Chris's presentation, honestly, because this is fantastic. But he is the 2020 World Champion of Public Speaking.
Wow,
So just letting you know, Chris, you've already set the bar pretty high for him.
fantastic! I'm excited for that. So just to explain a couple more slides, and I realize that we probably want to end at or we probably want to stop at probably 45 past the hour, but just a couple more slides to explain why onboarding is so important. So, y'all can read the screen, but really having a good structured onboarding framework will boost engagement, retention, and club energy, not only for the new members, but when other members see new members eager to volunteer and eager to speak and eager to participate, that's going to boost their energy too. So that's really key. It's going to benefit both the members, the new members, new or returning members, and the club in general. And we really, really, really want to tap the new members' enthusiasm because they are enthusiastic. And if we don't build upon that, we don't leverage that enthusiasm, and we just let that wane over time, then that's when we don't retain members. So having a structured onboarding program and getting new members off on the right foot from the very beginning is super critical. And then these slides here are just to explain, why we need onboarding from both the new members' perspective and the club's perspective. So again, I won't read through these slides. I think I've got a statistic here. Okay, I've got a statistic here that's important. So from the Toastmasters data, clubs with onboarding retain up to 20% more members on an annual basis. This is what the club really gets out of it is retention, because it's hard to get somebody to join. I think once they join, it's heartbreaking to see them wane off their like not have enthusiasm and their participation wane, and then ultimately not renew their membership. That's heartbreaking for a VPM from doing all of the getting the new members to join. And I think the onboarding program is a really good tool that will enhance the club's retention. Chitra and Kelly, any other questions in the chat or anything we need to address? Do you think?
We're looking pretty good here. Everybody's been kind of just coming off mute and going through it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This has been more engaging than our other some of our other presentations, and to me, it was very interactive. So,
Mhm.
and I like that you took comments and applied them as we were talking. So that's amazing.
Okay. So please give me I'm actually gonna go to my club meeting. I'm gonna race up there up to my club meeting. So after this. So please give me until tomorrow to I'll send this to Chitra and Kayla the final version with everything that I've altered here. And then would you be able to get that out to the people who participated?
We sure will.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Are we ready to open the floor for questions?
Sure, I am.
Questions, comments, or anyone?
I need to ask a question.
Sure,
I need
Lisa.
to do a TLI makeup. Is there any more left?
There is. I can drop those in the chat as well. We have a couple of those coming up, including some this Saturday and next week.
Yes, that would be fabulous. I would love that. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I have a comment I'd like to make.
Sure.
And I think Chris put this on the head too, about getting those early wins and giving people confidence early on in their Toastmasters journey is very important. One of the things that has made me sad over the years, and I've been in Toastmasters for a while, one thing that makes me sad is when people join and then they leave within 6 months. And I think the onboarding process, as described here, or as other clubs might have already instituted, that onboarding process is critical to make sure that people feel like they're a part of the club, they feel like they belong, but also that they're making progress to whatever goal they set when they first got there. I think this is very important for clubs to do.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, Stephen. And this is really critical for this onboarding meeting. So hopefully the VPM has talked to the new member, during the process of getting them to join and understands what their motivation is and what their goals are. But we should have the VPE and the mentor in this onboarding meeting on this slide here actually talk about their goals, talk about the new members' goals and understand that, and then cater this to what you to what you agree on. Of course, nobody's going to get kicked out of the Toastmasters if they don't achieve these milestones. But this is a way to make sure that that there's an understanding at least, and the new members might have goals of their own, which they might say, "Hey, I want to achieve, 3." I want to speak, in do 3 speeches in a quarter or something like that. So, okay.
Yeah. What are some best practices to make sure that we as a club are holding everybody accountable, but not accusing someone of not completing those goals, especially with the moments of truth and everything? We want to make sure everybody feels included.
That's a very good question. I think every member has a different level of commitment. Unfortunately, it's just human nature, right? I mean, people like Teacher was saying, people have their own commitments, whether it be work or family or what have you, right? So, but we want to make sure that everybody can participate and that we don't leave anybody out, right? And I think Dory had a good comment about not losing the opportunity to ask people to get involved. I think that's important, and making sure if people need to take a break, let them take a break. It's not a problem. Hopefully they won't let the membership lapse. But if they need to take a break for any reason, let them take a break. Don't constantly belabor them with all of these communications if they're on break. But let them recharge as needed.
I like that.
Lisa, I'm going to put you on mute. You're kind of I don't know.
I got it already, Chris.
Okay, great. Thank you. Perfect. Maureen, I think you had a comment, or you said something.
I said thank you for sending them out because it's feeling like a day that I'm in and out because I'm in hospital and everyone's saying hello because I arrived from one hospital to the other yesterday, and it's about 11:30 in the morning, a quarter to 12 in the morning here in New Zealand because I'm in with Christchurch Women's Toastmasters.
Well, thank you for joining. So it's such an hour, and we hope that everything's well with you in the hospital.
Oh, we'll get over all the breaks and all the damage in my ligaments in my knee at some stage.
Okay,
So this is 2+ weeks in.
Understand. Well, thank you for joining.
I think Lisa actually has a question.
Sure.
I would just wanted to show y'all what I'm doing while I'm listening, and I got a picture of your slide. I love it. But I'm stuffing these little summer watermelon wedges for this holiday lighting company. And I'm sticking this watermelon wedges in these little bags. And so anyway, I've been busy, but I didn't have a question. I just saw those. I see there's a Tuesday, August 5th. Are these on the District 63 calendar? Okay, because I'd love to have one this Saturday, but if I can't find one, then that'll be great.
Got you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
I want to thank. I don't know if we have any more questions. We like to end the 60 minutes because it is a D63 Power Hour. Kayla, can we stop recording and maybe we can have a